Previously on 70 Acres Studio.
I highly recommend using interfacing. It's tear away, you can remove it. You're sitting down with a cup of coffee or something, it's easy enough to just remove. I gave it a good heavy dose of starch and pressed it from both the back and the front, and it is done. And at this point I'm going to remove the interfacing and I'm going to trim it up to 9.5 inches so that the finished block will be 9. Hello there, YouTube. I am back with our very last block in our new project, which I'm calling Opposites Attract. I've showed you all the steps thus far, but I thought that I would bring you back for the very last block and show you how I go about securing it down. I have the block here. It's been fused together. And I have a piece of, I don't know, medium, average tearaway stabilizer. I got it on a big roll on Amazon. And what I'm doing now is I am going through the steps of the stitch to the point where I can, there we go, that's exactly where I want to be. So now I can lift the foot and rotate it, and I know that it will be right where it needs to be to start again. So I tell my machine to not do any more repeats and to go back to the beginning. And we're ready to go again. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm using the block to kind of steer the needle. I'm holding it, and you can see how it's pivoting here. I hold it and I can actually steer it around, steer the needle around the item, the piece that I'm sewing. And I always just, as a habit, wrap the top thread around my finger when I'm starting so that I don't end up having my top thread sucked down into my machine. What I'm doing is I'm just lining it up and making sure that the pattern is going to start where I want. That's why I went up and down with the needle. There we have it. That is all stitched down. Let me move you back. Don't get seasick on me. There we have it. I love this cotton shot pearl. It's very, very soft and silky. Sometimes when you have a metallic or pearl fabric, it can be very rough, but this is not. We are going to remove the tearaway stabilizer, and I don't like tearing it because it can distort fabric and it can distort stitches. So what I have been doing is using my seam ripper. Let's flip it back so it has something to focus on. Okay, your seam ripper is only sharp in here. Let's see if I can get the light to shine on the, see the bevel? It just lit up there. That's where it's sharp. You can go like this and you're not going to cut yourself. So I use this thing to zip around all the stitching, and it gets the stabilizer right off quickly, and it doesn't damage the fabric, it doesn't damage the stitching. Boom. Boom. It's very quick. You just need to have it a little taut, and if it won't start for you, go backwards. And then give it a little tension and you can zoom right around. Boom. And I hold it here with my finger just to give it tension. Off. Hi, Mr. Dinky. He's the one that told me about this. Right, Dink? You told me about this method. This is yours. Yes. Do you want to come over here and say hello to the YouTubes? Huh? You want to come over here? Say hello? Come on, there we go. Just drive it right around. Same thing for in the petals. I'm not stabbing it through the fabric. I'm just getting the tips stuck in the stabilizer and pulling up. And now you can see that it's in the quilt. It's not in the fabric, it's in the stabilizer. And at this point, you wouldn't want to take the tip and jab it straight because you will hit the stitches. So I give it a bit of an angle and I just poke it through like that. Isn't that good? It works so nice. And a little bit of stabilizer that is left, I'm not worried about. It'll soften up when it gets washed. I don't want to pull on the stitches and distort them. Ta-da, we're done. Okay, we're set up here over at the iron, and the iron is on. Okay. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I have some Best Press. I'm just making it damp. And I'm starting at the center and pulling out. And I'm just going to go back and forth until it's dry. And see this is softening up already. It has done its job. We don't need it anymore. They're pretty block. Piece of stabilizer. I don't know why. That'll be cut off when I trim it up. Okay, so this is supposed to be 9-inch finished, so it would be 9.5 unfinished, and that would be 4 3/4. So I'm going to take my 4 3/4 line, and I'm going to line it up with the seam, and it should be 9 3/4 down along here. So it's 9 3/4. It's straight over here, and 4 3/4 is lined up on a block on the seam there. I'm gonna have to pardon my shoulders. That. I'm a lefty. So now 9.5 is the target number. There's my 9.5 line. All nice and tidy. Now 4 3/4. We done did it. Pardon my shoulder. There we are. That is the last quilt, the last block we have. Ta-da! There you go. Check that out, people. That is our next project. I'm calling it Opposites Attract. I am going to be finishing up the pattern, and it will be available for sale. I may also make a 2-color version, because in the pattern I do show a 2-color version and it's just stunning. And I've also, with the 2-color version, I have taken the blocks and rotated them 90 degrees each time, and it really is quite striking. So I have to come up with sashing now. I'm debating on whether or not I want to use cornerstones. You will need 2.5 inch for 2-inch sashing. You're going to need 2.5 inch strips.